Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming to this morning's meeting of the Public Information and Education Committee and special meeting of the Board of Directors. Everybody's ready to go? We will call the meeting to order. And we will have a roll call.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Director Scott Houston. Here. Chairman Harold Williams.
Here.
Director Desi Alvarez. Director Don Deere. Here. Director Gloria Gray.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Okay, very good. Okay. Let's move on to the public comment.
Mr. Chairman, we have not received any requests for public comment, though this meeting is being held both in person and virtually. If there are any attendees that would like to speak under public comment, please indicate so by raising your virtual hand. Mr. Chairman, I do not see any requests.
Okay, how about presentations?
Staff has no presentations today.
Okay, then that takes us to the action calendar. And I will give control of the meeting to our general manager.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. The next item before you is item 5A. It is to an award and agreement. Apologize. It is to an award agreement for project management services for the Drought Resiliency Water Conservation Program. And for this presentation, we do have Gus Meza, our Senior Water Policy and Resources Analyst.
Thank you, EJ. Good morning, Chairman Williams, committee and board members. This morning, I'll be recommending a consultant to assist us with developing and implementing a new grant-funded resiliency water conservation program in the North Santa Monica Bay area. This is a joint program with Los Virgenes Municipal Water District and Los Angeles County Water Works District 29. So I am currently on packet page 3. Back in 2022, we partnered with Los Virgenes and LA County Waterworks to develop a joint water efficiency project. At that time, the Department of Water Resources was looking to fund regional projects that provided multiple benefits, environmental and community benefits. The partners developed the project, and Los Virgenes submitted the project on behalf of the 3 partnering agencies. We were successful with our project, and the partners were awarded $1.3 million in state funding for this project. This project will focus on providing resources to the Los Virgenes, Malibu, and Topanga residents. The resources will include education, outreach materials, firescaping classes, landscape site assessments, device rebates, water efficient plants, drip systems, flow monitoring devices, native plant kits, grass replacement rebates, landscape design assistance, rain barrels, education on cisterns, and homeowner association assistance, targeting and assistance for HOAs. There are a lot of HOAs in the Los Virgenes area. There are also some in the Malibu, Topanga area. So we want to make sure that we're meeting with the HOAs and presenting this program to them as well. So the Los Virgenes is the local project sponsor or the lead agency, and they'll be responsible for invoicing and providing the quarterly grant reports to the LA County Flood Control District on a quarterly basis. They will also assist in dispersing the funds to West Basin and LA County through a 3-way MOU. West Basin's role for this project is to hire and manage the project manager. The project manager will work closely with the project partners to develop outreach strategies and materials, conduct community outreach, assist with quarterly grant report assembly, and assist with implementing this new project. The cost of the project manager will be funded 100% by the grant, so no cost to West Basin. The project will be implemented over a 3-year period. To find a qualified project manager, staff utilized the district's bid system. We had 544 vendors view the proposal, 34 downloaded the materials, and 2 companies bid on the project. They were G3 Green Gardens Group, LLC, and Maureen Urbesnik and Associates. On page 4 of the packet, we provided the RFP process and the scoring. A review and scoring panel was assembled with 1 person from Las Virgenes, 1 from LA County Waterworks, and 1 from West Basin. Proposals, as you can see here on the schedule, the proposals were due back in January, and the panel interviewed the 2 consultants back in April. Staff has provided the scores on packet page 19. There was a maximum of 107 points. Maureen Urbesnik and Associates scored the highest with 103 points, and G3 scored 88 points. The panel felt that both teams were experienced and would do a very good job, but there were some areas where the Maureen Urbesnik team had more experience. The panel scored the Maureen Urbesnik and Associates team very high in the areas of technical approach, methodology, qualifications, and experience. Their team also has strong technical skills with tracking and assembling, grant reporting, and project budgets. And their grant reporting experience will be very helpful to Las Virgenes because they're going to need to assemble these quarterly reports. And so the project manager will work to get the information from West Basin and the county to help assemble those reports and provide them to Las Virgenes, who will finalize the reports and submit those to LA County on a quarterly basis. So they have really strong experience with grant reports. The Maureen team has contacts with many community leaders in the Malibu Topeka area and Las Virgenes areas which are going to help us to promote the program. Maureen Urbesnik team, they're a woman-owned consulting firm, a local business that has provided more than 20 years of conservation planning, implementation, monitoring, analysis, and evaluation. So in the end, the panel was unanimous in recommending the Maureen Urbesnik and Associate team. Their proposal tasks have been included as attachment A to this packet, and it provides greater detail. You'll see on outreach and marketing and their strategies. And then back on page 5 of the packet, I did want to briefly mention that the Urbesnik team includes a team of professionals with many years of experience in landscape design, marketing, social media, print, and digital designs, and outreach. So they'll be working closely with our public information department when we design these materials. We'll be running them by our communications manager and team to get their input and approval. So this would be a collaborative effort with their team as well. So for these reasons, the panel felt very confident that Maureen and Urbesnik and her team will do a great job. This project is being funded by DWR through the Integrated Regional Water Management Plan, or IRWIM, which can be, as you know, a very slow and cumbersome process. It takes some time to get the agreements in place. Staff is still working with Las Virgenes and LA County to finalize the 3-way MOU for this project. We did send the MOU to our legal, so they're reviewing that, and we'll get their feedback right back to Las Virgenes. So we're anticipating to begin this project in the fall of this year. We want to get the project manager on board. So once that 3-way MOU is signed in the next couple of months, we'll all be ready to start this project. This time, if it's okay with the committee, I can go ahead and read the recommendation and then take any questions or comments. Would you like me to read the recommendation?
Please do.
The recommendation is that the board authorize the general manager to enter into an agreement with Maureen Urbesnik and Associates for project management services for the district's joint drought resiliency water conservation program for a 3-year term beginning August 1st, 2024 through August 1st, 2027, for a total not to exceed contract amount of $304,600. Thank you. At this time, I can take any comments or questions you may have.
Thank you very much. We will check to see if there are any questions. Director Houston.
Sure. Number one, I love it. So I'm fully supportive. We need to get it moving. It's also nice to see it's another organization that I don't think we've ever done business before with these folks. I don't think, right? This company?
We've worked with, correct, Marina Besnick was the sub to the last company for the Malibu Smart program.
Yes.
Okay, sub to that project. But they weren't the main consultant. You're correct.
Right. Okay. Well, I like the fact that, again, what we've always been trying to emphasize is more people are bidding, more people are looking, and I know G3 has got a great reputation, but it looks like these ladies are highly qualified, so fully supportive. My only thing would be, and maybe it's to the general manager, is there any way that we can really put some pressure on expediting this MOU? It's been taking forever. So I don't know what more pressure we can exert on the multiple agencies to get that done.
So Director Houston, if I could just quickly address this, the MOU has now been delivered to legal counsel and we are waiting for their okay on it. It's been a busy morning, so I haven't checked my email today. But my expectation is that their approval will come through very quickly and we'll be able to move that through the process. It's possible that if we get it, we could potentially, well, we have our board meeting on Monday. And so it'll be difficult to get it through on Monday.
Yeah.
But we are very close to executing the MOU as well.
If I can add really quick.
Mhm.
Oh, sure. Yeah, once we get that back from legal, we'll send it back to Las Virgenes, and what they'll do is they'll send it to the county for their review. They've already worked with the county several times on this MOU, so we're hoping that they'll be okay with this final version, and then we can all take it for signatures.
Good.
Once we get there, the county's okay on that. Yeah, thank you.
Very good. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And this is committee meeting, right? So
Very
I
good.
would recommend it moves forward with a yes to the board.
Very good. I concur. Just remember that county moves at great speed.
Yeah.
Okay. Next item.
Yes, that brings us to our information counter. We do have a number of items on this agenda. Our hope is to highlight a lot of the great work that our public information education team has been doing over not just the most recent months, but over this past year as well. So this first item, I'm very excited to introduce. It's our education programs update. And it does begin on packet page 22. And for this presentation, we have Janelle and Kyan, our public information specialist.
Thank you, EJ. Good morning, Chair Williams, members of the board and committee. I'll actually be taking this to packet page 27 for the report overview. And again, this is going to be an end of year report summarizing all of our education programs and school participation over the past school year. And just on this page, I wanted to highlight this very nice thank you letter from Samantha, who's a fourth grader at Our Lady of Guadalupe School, the students that we were able to serve through our field trip program. And moving on to the next page, where we have our education programs participation summary. Over the past year, we were able to serve over 7,500 students throughout 188 sessions this school year, which is a truly wonderful accomplishment for our team. And in a few moments, I'll be going over the more detailed participation summaries for each education program, starting on field trips on packet page 30. And on this page, we do have a testimonial from Mr. Warner at Pennycamp Elementary School. That school is a recycled water customer, and we're going to be on page 30 of the agenda packet. And you can see a photo of the students with the recycled water sign at their school, and a nice testimonial from the teacher as well. So the following page details the participation breakdown by director division. with a full breakdown included as attachment via this agenda package should you wish to see what schools and dates your service area schools have participated in. And on the next page, packet page 32, we have a comparison with the previous school year for 2022, 2023, and 2024 and 2024. And I did just want to give you all a friendly reminder regarding our reservation process. So we do accept reservations on a first come, first served basis. Again, we have 96 field trips in a single school year, so we are pretty busy. And we schedule Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and sometimes Mondays and Fridays as well. So for any schools that are not able to schedule a field trip with us, whether to us being fully booked or because they just couldn't fit it with their school schedule or other challenges, they're placed on a priority booking list where they get a few weeks in advance of the public school tour reservation opening, so they can essentially guarantee their spot securing of that field trip. Just for example, after the 2022 school year, we did have a few schools from Division 3 in Manhattan Beach particularly that were on that waiting list that did get priority reservation for this school year. So that kind of contributes to that spike for Division 3 that you see here. Because they did get priority reservation, they also booked multiple dates so that they can serve an entire grade level for their school. I did want to acknowledge the reduction in participation for Division 4 and particularly for Division 2 schools. And we're actively addressing that, and we'll share kind of some strategies we're thinking of in a few moments. But just to discuss some challenges that we've faced in securing balanced participation across all the divisions. There are 5 schools from Lenox that were previously in Division 2 but are now in Division 5 after redistricting. So this would have kind of doubled participation for Division 2 for this year. I also have one of my champion teachers from Highland Elementary School in Inglewood, as well as another contact at Kessel Elementary School in Inglewood that has moved schools. So I'm trying to find a new contact to kind of work with and re-engage those schools to continue that participation. And as you know, Inglewood Unified is closing 5 of their 15 schools, which is truly a scary experience for both the students, the admin, and the staff and teachers that work there. So their attention might maybe diverted elsewhere, but that's not to say that we're still trying to work with them to be able to serve their own unique needs. But that said, we still had strong participation from Division 2 and Division 4 for our art contest. So I'll be sharing that in a few moments when we get to the art contest slide. So some of the solutions we're working on to further promote field trip participation to our service area underserved schools include outreach to these priority schools. So despite teachers having the summer off, I started to outreach to my priority booking list. I do already have 2 school tours scheduled for Centinela Elementary School and Payne STEAM Academy in Inglewood. I have conducted some outreach to other schools as well, but it is the summertime, so we're going to give teachers some time to relax and respond back when they get a moment. But last year, we did also have some challenges scheduling field trips with Alphagun Middle School. There was some scheduling and transportation concerns, but I have reached out to them and I hope to meet with their science teachers and hopefully their principals to come to a solution. In addition, I have scheduled meetings with the administration at El Segundo Unified. That's next week, as well as Inglewood Unified 2 weeks from now, so that we can discuss how we can promote our programs, understand the needs of those districts and those teachers, and figure out how we can make adjustments to better serve their needs. So all that to say, we are constantly developing relationships with local schools and community organizations. For example, our new assembly program vendor, Grades of Green, has a strong working partnership with Inglewood Unified that we hope to leverage to work closely with schools as well as other school districts that we work with as well. We are also hosting South Bay Workforce Investment Board for a tour of the facility in early August and hope to leverage their partnerships with local schools to increase program visibility. And of course, we're always going to implement our known marketing strategies such as focused emails, postcards to further promote participation in underserved areas. And especially since we're in the summertime, this is a great opportunity for us to improve our programs, especially when it comes to equitable participation. So that's why it's valuable to have this kind of pie chart overview comparing where we need to invest a little bit more time and a little bit more care to make sure that we're being equitable in our participation. So that's it. We're going to continue to work hard to serve our underserved schools, and we'll have more information regarding our promotion strategies in our next quarterly update. But that said, are there any questions regarding this participation breakdown before I move on?
Director Gray?
No, it's a wonderful presentation. Just want to thank staff for everything they're doing, but I will continue to listen, but thank you.
Thank you. Okay, great job
Thank
as
you.
always.
Great. So I'll move on to the next page. I believe this is packet page 35. Oh, no, we're not on packet page 35. This is packet page 33. And just to close out school tours, I also wanted to highlight our student conservation program. After a school tour, each student receives a water star kit to promote water use efficiency in their homes. And this year, our selected Water Star students contributed to over 120,000 gallons of confirmed water savings. And we look forward to further adapting this program to increase participation and increase that water savings number as well. So now moving on to page 35 of the agenda, showcasing some of the great coverage that we've received for our student art contest. This is a post from Palos Verdes Peninsula Unified and a board member from Centinela Valley Union High School District. And on the next page, we have the participation breakdown by director division. Again, more detailed participation information is included as attachment C of the agenda packet. And just a reminder for our art supply kits that those are only available for our priority schools located in disadvantaged communities, which is why you kind of see some kind of shift in participation. But overall, I think that we had a pretty even and equitable participation across all divisions, including Division 2, showcasing that high number of art lessons and art supply kits that I mentioned earlier. Moving on to packet page 38. Just wanted to highlight the excellent work of Palos Verdes Peninsula High School for Met's newer Water Engineering for Good program. As part of this, they did design a gray water filtration device, which is pictured with one of their students over here, which is very creative, and they did earn second place overall out of 18 participating teams. So I want to applaud them for their hard work. Hopefully they get first next year as well. Moving on to page 43 for our teaching test program, highlighting some photos from our December check presentation. You can see the group photo with a nice handmade sign that they made for us, including some photos of a photo of students actually doing the water quality testing. On the next page, you have the participation breakdown, and we served nearly 100 students through 10 schools or organizations. And we want to highlight that this is another great opportunity for us to message about careers in water, especially as it comes to water quality and careers in laboratory fields as well. I do want to also add that we are in active conversations with the Gardena Willows and environmental charter schools to expand this program, hopefully to the Gardena Willows and increase access to the surrounding communities. Hopefully to extend this program beyond just the beach cities, and you can see that it's pretty skewed towards the beach cities right now. We are planning to sponsor this program for the next school year. So we'll process that sponsorship in August and plan for a check presentation shortly afterwards, and invite the board as well to join that check presentation. So to close this out for today, I wanted to share some highlights on packet page 46. Showcasing all of the kind of ad hoc events that we attended and supported throughout this school year as well, and some photos to close this out. The next page, we actually were able to support environmental charter schools for Ocean Literacy Day, so we did a beach cleanup with them, talked a little bit about the connection between water stewardship and water quality out in the bay. On the next page, some behind the scenes going back to one previous page. Going back to, oh, sorry. Okay, on the next page, we do have a jobs panel that we did with California Water Environment Association, LA Trade Tech, as you can see here, and our partners at Veolia to highlight the areas of the water industry. And on the next page, I think that's what I was looking for, which is a behind the scenes with Soul Arts Academy. Was able to create that beautiful Black Guide Water Harvest 2023. On the next page, we attended a STEAM fair for Hawthorne School District. So you can see, again, another great exposure for careers in the water industry. This young gentleman was super excited to look like a water engineer. So you can see his hard hat, carrying that big old wrench that was probably as tall as him, and students trying to move water just like water treatment distribution operators as well. And on the following page, we also have a feature of our Water Star program, including our game that's hosted on our website. And I believe last but not least, we were also able to support Grades of Green and Bennett CUNY Inglewood for tree planting and campus beautification back in May. And that was just another great event where we're hoping to grow continued partnerships with the city of Inglewood and Grades of Green's partners as well. So that said, I do want to share that it was a great year serving our local schools, and we look forward to further expanding partnerships with teachers, attending industry events, and promoting participation in our underserved schools. So that concludes my report, and I'm happy to take questions if there are any.
Thank you very much. Questions?
No questions, just comment of excellent job. I mean, I know that, I think we all share that, of course, but I am amazed, and actually general manager knows this too, because any of us who are at the booth, staffing the booth, you know, these young kids come up and a lot of them know who we are, which is awesome. So that's because of you all. So amazing. And I know you're going to work hard on the next round. So thanks very much for what you guys do.
Director Deere. Director Gray. Great work, great work. I'm telling you, I like hearing comments about areas where I've worked before coming to West Basin. And when I hear that we're doing things with the Willows, I'm really excited about that. So I got involved with that back in the day.
When I was a kid, that was the swamp.
I heard you call worse than that. Anyway, I'm glad to see that we're touching these areas and bringing them back to life. I'd like to stay in touch with you on the Willows, because that's a great spot that needs to be really brought up to where it should be. So anyway. Thank you very much, and keep up the good work. Next.
Yes, the next item that we have, Janelle had touched on this previously, but wanted to highlight 6B. It's a new education consultant for on-campus assembly program. And again, we have Janelle and Kaya.
Hello again. So we are going to start on page 63 of the agenda packet. No PowerPoint for this one, but this is an information item detailing our new working relationship with Grades of Green for our on-campus. Again, our contract with the incumbent consultant expired on June 30, 2024. And as part of our good procurement practices, we conducted a solicitation to continue offering this program for our service schools. This request for proposals opened on April 10 with 3 proposals submitted from Wildwoods, Grades of Green, and Oceanographic Teaching Stations, Inc. The scope of work and final scores are included as attachments in this report. And under this project, the selected vendor is expected to supply up to 24 assembly sessions over the next 2 school years for a total of 48 sessions through June 2026. These assemblies are expected to be hands-on and cover topics from California water resources, water stewardship, and even touch on careers in water as well. Our education team evaluated all of the 3 proposals and selected Grades of Green as the top respondent with a total of 93 points. And Grades of Green, just if you're not familiar with them, they're a local business based out of El Segundo, so right in our service area. And they have a really strong reputation for community mobilization efforts. They are rooted in sustainability. And their proven approach includes project-based learning and youth leadership development. Like I mentioned, they have strong relationships with local school districts, including Inglewood Unified, the Beach City as well, that we hope to leverage to education. And we are confident that they will support students by developing their interest in water stewardship and sustainability through a new technical company. I do want to share that while we selected Breeds of Green through this competitive process, their price proposal for 40 sessions lands at $48,000, which is within the general manager's approval authority, and which is why we're here for as an informational item rather than an action item. These 24 sessions per year are expected to serve at least 2,000 students with the potential to grow from there as well. And we look forward to working with the general manager to enter into this contract shortly and spend the latter half of this summer developing this new program in partnership with Breeds. So that said, that completes my report, and I'm happy to take questions if there are any. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Questions? Director Gray,
No, thank you.
Director Deere. Okay, very good. Thank you for another fine report. Next.
Yes. This brings us to item 6C, our new content management system update. And for the presentation, we do have Mel Miranda, our public information specialist.
BJ. Good morning, Chair Williams, committee and board members. I'm excited to preview our new website to you, which will launch August 1st. Prior to doing so, I will give you some background. Beginning on packet page 70, this project was initiated as a cost-saving measure with a dual goal of moving to a better overall content management system, CMS, otherwise known as a website. Our current CMS is WordPress, and we are spending $10,000 a year on support, $1,000 on add-ons, and $2,000 on hosting fees. The company we chose, which is Granicus, is a little over $4,000 per year. Granicus is the unified CMS, where WordPress is very modular and requires multiple plugins to maintain, which increases our security risks. By switching platforms, we not only save money and decrease security risks, but also modernize the site's look. The benefits of Granicus include full support of all aspects of the website and added functionality. For us in Pi, who maintain the website, there is improved consistency and functionality on the back end. There's also a much cleaner and better overall design while keeping all content intact. Also noted is that Pi presented an overview of the project at Pi Committee on September 14th, showing the wireframe and possible designs, with additional mentions in Pi's upcoming sections in the January, February, and March reports earlier this year. Currently, all pages on our site have been migrated to the new CMS. Pi implemented a plan that focused on the first pages we beautified, basing our decisions on visits and page views and average time spent on a page, while also considering our service area and stakeholders. We will continue to beautify the remaining pages as we move forward, but for now, we would like to present to you our new West Basin website. Share screen. So this is where we are, and this is where we will go to. So as you can see, I will scroll from the top to the bottom and explain each section in detail. Top, we have a ticker, so to speak, where we highlight breaking news or emergency things that happen. This can easily be turned off on the front end and the back end by clicking this hide button. This picture just like that. Here we have our logo and our name. We have a search bar, which we can search easily for whatever content we're looking for. We have links to jobs, contact us, and signing up for our newsletter. Our navigation item, we've simplified it from 8 originally to 5. And as you can see, the content makes more sense in terms of how we categorize and place all of our categories. In the About West Basin, it's what we do, the board information, the board of directors, governance, transparency, finance, doing business, careers, and contacts. Your water highlights the imported water, groundwater, seawater, recycled, water use, and water quality and environmental compliance. The next section, water use efficiency, highlights our programs and resources. And these are categorized by the amount of hits that we get based on public. Community, we feature events, our calendar, the general public education, and K-12 education, as well as the multimedia gallery, which we highlight our pictorials of all of our events as well as videos that we've produced. Finally, the news section highlights district news, press releases, public notices, newsletters, awards, and media resources. So everything is at a glance. And there's a lot of redundancy here where you could find whatever you're looking for in many places on the website. The next section, as you see rotating, we have 4 of our pillars. I'll go through each one of them real quick. Community highlights a photo from Water Harvest last year with a link directly to our community page. The next is education, focusing on K-12. It's a nice photo of a little beaker. The next is water use efficiency, which highlights the garden using, which is water efficient. The final is recycled water, which highlights ECL. The next section, we have buttons that are one click away from finding what you want to find out. We focus on jobs, obviously, which we want to promote careers in the water industry, doing business with West Basin, the agendas, education and tours, rebates, maps. A couple clicks over, you find more tabs, which you can find in one link, in one click, excuse me. The next section is our news section. We list 4 on the main page, but you could easily click here to read all the news stories as well as all the archives. And we're in the process of populating the majority of them from the years past. So it'll be complete. The next section, our spotlight section, functions as our banner blocks on our current website. Here we're highlighting Rainbow program, which is coming up in fall. With obviously text, filler text, which we'll populate. Water Harvest Save the Date, October 5th. Firescaping, which is coming up as soon as we lock down a date, Palace Birthdays, and education, which obviously we feature much of in our current endeavors. The next section is our social media widgets. Social media plays such a huge role nowadays that we wanted to focus on this as well. Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. LinkedIn will actually populate once the site goes live on August 1st. But here you can see our posts as well as all of our posts on LinkedIn and Instagram that Aaron's been doing a great job in general as well. The next section focuses on our events. Here's some easy to click tabs, which we have 4 so far. And if you wanted to click on the full calendar, you can do so easily by clicking on the full calendar tab. The next section is the video spotlight. We're making this website more not static, it's going to be active so we can actually feature videos and information about the videos themselves. So people can actually be more interactive and watch what we're doing in multimedia platforms. And meet our board. Here, all of your feature, one click, a button, I'll focus on Director Williams. Click on his page, takes you to a nice layout. This face, this photo, title, current term, everything is very clean. Bio at the bottom, you can easily condense it. When you expand it, there's also a link for his PDF bio at the bottom of this page. So as I mentioned, there's a lot of redundancy on this website. The colors are vibrant, it's more interactive, user-friendly, which is one of the many benefits of moving to this platform. We can also set review notifications for when we want to update programs. And this has over 60 widgets from which to choose, which is just the way to encounter more specific detail in the web page without having to click on an app like you do on your smartphone, which is great. And it just exists as part of the page. And to be respectful of the other presentations to follow, we will show a few selected pages following. But if you'd like to see more, we will work with the general manager's office to schedule a time that's convenient for you to view more pages. But some of the pages I'd like to highlight is the first one will be the board directors page. Here you see your photos with image widgets. You click on there, it shows your title and directs you to the page as well to read about you. You can contact each director by clicking on there and filling out this form, which will go to the board secretary. The next page is our careers page, which we definitely promote. Here, you see the umbrella page, and underneath you have career resources and internships, which I know we're definitely promoting. We just have our cohort of interns who started early this month, so it's one of the key factors that we're trying to promote as well. And here's a look at the internship page. All the resources, all the information you need. Here's photos of last year's cohort. And then the career resources, it gives you everything you need to know about finding jobs in the water industry, all of the agencies we work with. And again, for redundancy, internship link is this link to here. So it shows you more ways to find out what you're looking for, which is a great feature of the webpage. Doing business is another category you want to feature. And as you can see, the page is migrated pretty seamlessly, so this looks familiar with the current WordPress website. Also has a feature on the newsletter and webinars, which they just connected, and they have a procurement connection newsletter as well, which people can access. And the events page. Maybe. So the calendar listing of all the events that we have coming up, and we'll be able to categorize by events as well as departments if they're specific to each department. Moving forward, we will continue to tackle pages and beautify them systematically prior to and after August, our August 1 launch. As noted on packet page 71, and as presented, the CMS is much more visually appealing compared to our current system, and it's also very easy to navigate and very user-friendly to the friendly user. And for Pi, it's much simpler on the back end, which saves us a lot of time trying to figure out WordPress as it currently stands. I also want to acknowledge Isaiah and Eric from the IT department who've been instrumental in helping us get to where we are with this project. That concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Very good. I like it. But I'd like to hear from Director Houston. He's very familiar with this and he loves it. So.
Actually, I do like it. I really like it a lot, and I hadn't seen it prior. So I think you all have done a great job. I actually like the kind of darker blue colors. I love that. I actually dealt with revamping a website myself recently, so I kind of know a lot more than I expected to know. It's extremely complicated, as well as trying to figure out what makes sense financially. So I think it's excellent. I guess the question would be how you will let people know we have a revamped website. I'm sure you have a plan to promote that, and I was reading about that 2-3 months ago. Because obviously when businesses and organizations redo a website, a lot of times you want to hype it up and then blast it out. So that would be my only question. Otherwise, I think it's great. I look forward to seeing it.
I'll definitely put a release on the website. We'll send that through a newsletter or other avenues such as the COGS, e-blast, et cetera. So we have a lot of venues in which to promote the website. And we're looking forward to the feedback from our constituents, as well as, we like your positive feedback. We appreciate that. And others who are going to witness it in the future after August 1st.
I do want to allow the teams time to work through, launch things, and then also we did systematically start to update some of our key pages that will allow us to really see it in action and gauge some soft launch of sorts. But definitely, I think people will see it when they come to our site and then hear about it through our main networks.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Do you advertise this sort of thing?
I mean, I think it's definitely, website. We can share it in terms of you have to go to the website to see our web news, but and then some of our e-blasts that we'll have. But yeah, we usually note that it's a new look and a new feel, and I don't know if it'll garner any feedback per se, but if we do get it, that's always helpful for us to hear.
All right.
And the nice thing, Mr. Chairman, I believe we're going to be able to see data very quickly as to the usability and the friendliness of the website. We've had a lot of different websites over the years, and we have so much content, so much information. Sometimes it's difficult to find. And somebody who knows the website and knows kind of the information that I'm looking for, that's always been one of the challenges. And the word that kept coming up in my mind as I went through it, and I think Mel touched on it, is just the redundancy. If you miss it on the top, and again, condensing the number of buttons there, as you scroll down, everything that you think you would look for is in there, and there's multiple opportunities to go and find that information. And I think we're going to see a lot more traffic getting to those destinations and that information that might in past have been difficult to find. So we're going to continue to track this. I'm very pleased with this, and we have a couple more items for you just to provide updates as to the work that we're doing. But I think that this website, we're going to see a lot more traffic and a lot more users, I think, within our community, really getting the information that they're looking for.
Good. Yeah, excellent, outstanding. Yes.
I have one technical question. So, because that is the trick is, links, sometimes they change. I think the good thing, thankfully, you all had the consistent link, like the rain barrel link has been the same spot for many months, or the grass replacement. Because in the past, I know that some got tweaked and then the link that worked a month ago changed, and then you'd have to refind it. So my point is as you migrate to the new website, will those current links still hold, or will they just be all new links? Literally, that.
I take that question, sir.
Yeah.
So the system has a functionality called vanity links, and Granicus is called friendly links. So we're designing the links to match.
Okay.
So at the end of westbasin.org, you can do that /newsletter, and
Yeah.
that would always redirect to our newsletter page.
Got
So we're maintaining that. Staff has a list of existing, and we're migrating all the critical ones. There's a few we're letting go, but that's outdated content.
Okay. Oh, good to know. Yeah. Nice. Thank you.
It's good. Anything else? Anyone else? Director Gray?
No, thank you.
How about you, Director?
Nothing.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Outstanding. Great job.
Mr. Chairman, that brings us to item 6D. It begins on packet page 72. It is our newsletter update. Again, another item that I'm excited to bring forward because I know that our work, sometimes, we're trying to put together the best work product possible. And so this day, we're bringing forward several of these items as information counters just to show you the progress. And so for this presentation related to the newsletter update, we have Jennifer Jansen, our public information specialist.
Good morning. I, along with AJ, am excited to present this to the committee, the relaunch of the West Basin Water News newsletter. I'll begin by sharing the purpose for the revamped newsletter structure, which is to inform, educate, and inspire our readers through West Basin's innovation and impact throughout the water industry, as well as our influential impact in our service areas too. The newsletter format creates consistency for our audience, including established standing topics that our readers can rely on, and stories that they can learn from as well. The story content centers on 3 elements that I structured it around: informative, impactful, and influential, to showcase what West Basin does in our communities and provide education about what goes into the production of the water that people use. The story format for each section of the newsletter is a replicable outline of content that allows for consistency and reliability, so our readership really knows what they're getting out of each edition. And I'll go ahead and run through the general format of the newsletter content. Like I said, this replicable outline follows a framework that can be repeated with each subsequent edition through 5 standing story categories. The first is an industry-wide or California local water topic, providing a high-level overview of something significant happening in the water industry for the past quarter, or a local story that has wide public interest. The second section is an event calendar, and this section serves to proactively promote our services and classes to increase involvement and attendance. And the third section is a program promotional story, highlighting a water use efficiency program that has occurred during the past quarter to demonstrate our active work and to help people utilize water efficiently in our communities. Fourth section is a conservation tip with seasonal, helpful, practical conservation information and sustainability practices. And finally, the last section of the newsletter is a social spotlight, where we promote social media posts from the quarter that encourages our readers to engage with our social platforms. And it's also a good strategy to cross-promote between the newsletter and social and our website to increase engagement as well. So this newsletter is a standard 2-page PDF of content with visual elements and interactive links to the website. We keep the stories concise to keep readers engaged and not overwhelmed by a surplus of content. And the topics of the newsletter are geared toward general public interest because that is our audience. The copy, visual elements such as pictures and graphics, and the interactive links really showcase the vast range of programs and resources available for our communities, with the hope that they will be able to utilize this tool in the newsletter and also the tools that they're given in the newsletter links to really help people understand why they should care about the work that we do and how it affects them. As far as deployment, we have established a publication schedule for deployment of the newsletter. The PDF Water News will be posted to the West Basin website and will also be distributed to our existing list of 3,900 plus recipients through Constant Contact on a quarterly basis to be delivered at the end of each month in January, April, July, and October. Following this publication schedule, typically we would deploy the newsletter on the last day of July, as I mentioned. But for this first publication for this quarter and this quarter only, the newsletter will deploy the following day on Thursday, August 1st. And that is in order to align with the launch of our new CMS website that will be congruent on that same day, so that the embedded links within the newsletter will lead to the new website and create a seamless transfer of content. But other than this first publication that will be on August 1st, the rest of the subsequent publications will be, like I said, in the end of the months in January, April, July, and October. And then the last thing I really want to mention is following the newsletter relaunch deployment, we will be consistently monitoring metrics for this as well to evaluate our readership base and growth, including 2 elements: newsletter, email open rates and engagement, and also subscriber as well. So regular analysis of these metrics will allow us to really refine our content and strategy to continuously meet our goals of having an engaged readership base. And we will be able to report these metrics to the board included in our PI committee updates, which will be a new element of our standing monthly committee updates. And of course, we'll be sure to share a metrics report with the board after each newsletter publication. So that concludes this staff briefing, and I will open the floor to any comments if you have any.
Director?
You know them.
Yeah.
Number one, thank you very much, and I'm so glad you all are making this a priority. You know, I've been talking about it for some time, and the general manager knows, because it is important, not just to me, but it's important because I see what our other neighbors are doing, right? Metropolitan sends out, I think, a monthly newsletter, I think. There's an e-blast that goes out from Metropolitan. WRD sends stuff out. Orange County Water District sends stuff out. They all have different styles, have different looks. I actually think what you all done prior in the last few iterations and leading up to now was really good. And so we're getting in that new space. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with in the end, the style and all that. And measure those metrics. And then ultimately, though, I still will push that we should be at some point, probably every other month. I really feel strongly about that because, you know, the challenge for all of us as individuals is, you know, we see a newsletter once every 3 months. Maybe I get around to reading it, maybe I don't, but I'm not getting more consistent, timely information in that sense. So the good thing I'm thinking of, though, is you get the template now, you see what's playing well, and then we can all look at how we might escalate it, which the other thing in that regard is you don't have to have as much content per cyclonic order. So it is my opinion, but that's where ultimately I think we should go. But I'm giving you all grace to come up with what you're doing now to eventually get to that point, you know. So that's my feedback. But I'm looking forward to seeing how you guys make this happen.
Anyone else? I concur with him. Okay. Anyone else?
My
Item B.
comment is that, can you
Oh.
hear me? Here.
Yes,
Yeah.
now I can, Director.
I just want to thank staff for even doing what they're doing, revamping the newsletter, the website, and I think it's just, they're very creative, and I'm looking forward to final product. And I've heard the comments from Director Houston, which I think are good comments, but I want to thank staff because they're doing a great job with what they're doing, and I'm looking forward to the final version. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next.
All right, the next item that we have is item 6E. It's doing business with West Basin Ad Buy. It begins on packet page 74. And Amy Rocha, our manager of communications, is going to address this and present this item. However, before we do that, I did want to just provide maybe a little bit of a additional background. We've been talking about all of our efforts to really promote doing business with the district. It came about during a committee meeting where it was asked of staff to go back and look at potentially doing print ads to see if that would help really drive firms and businesses that maybe aren't as familiar with West Basin to West Basin. West Basin has been leaning, I guess, against or maybe utilizing print media a little bit less than we did back several years ago. But I want to say that staff did take that direction from the board, really thought about it and looked for specific opportunities about when we could really jump at an opportunity. And so I'm excited about this presentation, and I don't want to steal any more of her thunder, so I'll off to Amy Rocha.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Chair Williams and members of the Canadian Board. I also just want to take a moment to recognize Michael Calabria. He prepared the staff report and a lot of the work that went into it, including artwork. So I'm just here on his behalf giving these notes. And if there's any questions, I can take them or he can take them virtually. But the Public Information Education Department has been playing a role in promoting the district's procurement activities and working with our procurement staff to do so. We've been finding numerous ways to drive vendors to register and to be aware of what bidding opportunities we have. And so for this most recent fiscal year that we closed out, this includes posting opportunities via social media, producing a procurement-focused newsletter, and that was the one that Mel previewed on the new website that you clicked through, hosting a webinar, and maintaining our website to make sure our information is current. And then as we got towards the end of the fiscal year and the priority strategies and tactics that we wanted to do, we found that we had some funding remaining in our most recent fiscal year. So what we did was, considered what was proposed and discussed in terms of finding more mainstream outlets and business-oriented audiences to feature within our budget. And so we were able to make some space reservations utilizing last fiscal year that would carry out through the current calendar year and into this current fiscal year. So making use of our prior year's budget. And so with this in mind, staff developed a strategic ad buy plan for the remainder of the 2024 calendar year and negotiated cost-effective rates with two major business-oriented publications in the LA area, who covers not only the West Basin service area, but expands into our local and small business enterprise radius, so within 25 miles of the service area, West Basin headquarters. The goal of the ad buy is to promote interest in and boost registration for our procurement bidding system, and also reach potentially a newer or broader audience. The ads align with just the relevant sections in the case of LA Times or issue topics in the case of the Business Journal, such as the small business issue or the largest employers focused or public sector focused issue. Throughout the dates of the year. And then on top of that, we're tracking, just any boost that we may have. So for example, right now, there are currently over 10,000 vendors registered in our system through the OpenGov new system. And we're also created a unique QR code so that somebody can see what kind of website traffic may be a result of this ad and start to really measure return on investment. And then just as a sense of what we'll be producing, there is an attachment at A, and you can see the first edition, the first ad in its full size in color in the LA Times, and the second in the LA Business Journal. Their color, they reach, for the LA Times, it would reach more than 250,000 digital subscribers. And then for the LA Business Journal, it's a readership of more than 77,000 readers per issue. And then we've listed some potential dates that we are suggesting, again, July through December. And the total cost for these ads would be just over $8,000. So we feel like it's a good value considering the prominence of these publications. So with that, I will conclude my report and happy to take any comments, questions, feedback. Thank you.
Okay, you've heard the report. Anything?
Yeah, this is Director Houston, but I go at meetings and sometimes you gotta, say your name, say your name. Look, at the end of the day, I have no idea if this is gonna pan out, but I know that I think another director wanted us to look at this, and you're doing diligence, so, EJ, you guys gonna have to track this work or not. I have no clue how many people in the Los Angeles Times are looking at ads to do business with a small water district. I don't know. So I just leave it open, but at least it's not a lot of money that we're spending. That's just my opinion. I don't know how to target people better, but I don't know that print ads are the thing to do, but that's just my opinion. So I put it there for you. Thank you.
And Director Houston, I do want to acknowledge that. And one of the things that made me think that this might be a good opportunity, and again, I think Amy mentioned that Michael is with us virtually today. He wasn't able to be here in person. But one of the things that kind of stood out at me was kind of the themes of the very specific issues that they had tagged and the environmental draw to that, where I thought if you were a small business, if you were a company that catered to that, and they had a date and a publication that was specifically geared towards that, that would be our best opportunity to make this work. And so we obviously deal with a lot of outdoor vendors as far as our landscaping and stuff like that, but also environmental infrastructure. And so we're hopeful that if this is going to work, these are those best opportunities. So we will track all of that data. Again, I want to say thank you to staff for really finding an opportunity that made sense to give this a try. And so we will report back specifically as to the traffic that we get and the analytics that come from those ads.
Mr. Chair, maybe I can ask a question. I mean, I not know the answer, but like what other districts might be doing like our size? Like what does Las Virgenes or some of the others are similar have a strategy on any of this or not? I don't know.
When I started doing a little bit more research related to the subject matters, I typically found that it was companies, private entities actually advertising their businesses.
Yeah.
So we're kind of going in, I would say somewhat of the opposite direction, but perhaps if they're looking at their own materials, if they're looking at their own ads and they're looking at that content, they may see that opportunity from an agency like ours. I do know that Metropolitan Water District is very active in this field as far as trying to promote opportunities. But Amy, I don't know if you have anything as far as what other small agencies like West Basin are doing.
I have to check in with our procurement team. They've been very good about, researching, what possible efforts to make, and I haven't come across anything that comes to mind. So I think that is one of our continuing goals for PI to collaborate with the procurement team. As you know, we plan to do another webinar. And I think the prior one was with some other agencies, again, to give it a little bit more, band together to make it more value, give it more value to the participants. The newsletter, we'll do another issue of our Procurement Connections newsletter for that dedicated vendor audience. And then continue to post our solicitation. So you know, if we do find new strategies or ideas that make sense and that others are doing, happy to consider them and can definitely take a look to see to that point. To your point.
Thank you. Again, on this one, I really am not here to drive that bus at all. It is what it is. But on the other hand, I'm also thinking, you know, especially the types of stuff we're doing, it would be like the engineering magazines, maybe, or those water magazines we get. I mean, on the business side for procurement.
We did consider industry magazines, but you know, this is noticing the artwork. We do have professional services. I mean, all departments do require, you know, some level of procurement. And so while the most likely would be more of the operations and engineering type, we did just keep it broad. Again, that was in part some of the feedback we got. Well, let's try a wide net, so to speak. But I do agree that, you know, if this were to be something we wanted to invest in, you know, literally our funding and our budget this year is pretty much smaller, which is why it's nice that this was out of, you know, the
Last year's
budget we had
budget.
last year's budget. Yeah, we could look at, you know, more specific audiences
Right.
if that is something we'd like to pursue.
Yeah. And I'm assuming sometimes too, maybe you do one-off things like when you've got a certain type of an RFP that's coming out or whatever. I mean, you want to do something very targeted to those type of magazines.
If we felt that
Yeah.
there were not going to be enough bidders, that's certainly an approach we have not done that to date. But
Right.
I'm aware of. It's just like you mentioned of what we've been doing. But yeah, we can certainly consider.
Well, I'll just throw one last thing out there, and maybe this goes more to since local and people try to look at local for all manner of services. I mean, obviously, if you look at the Easy Reader or the El Segundo Herald or what have you, all the local cities put their blurbs in there, which I'm sure there's a crew of people. They're always looking at each of the local community newspapers that do still use print for bids. So, you know, that may be a place to look just back to square one, very local stuff.
And I like this discussion because it is something that, you know, we're looking to shape. In that case, and I would almost rather leverage our relationships with our chambers. I know we just went through that exercise of updating our chamber list. That's certainly a local audience of business-minded community members. It comes with some of our benefits. It would be an added cost. And so that's something that we'll look to expand. I know for the procurement connections newsletter, it was to our large vendor list, you know, in the system. But, you know, I think that would be the next natural progression to expand our communique to our existing, we just have to make sure that chamber list is current and all of that. So I think there are steps in between, you know, more localized or more targeted paid advertisements as a vehicle. But I do look forward to seeing, you know, what this results in. I think that's the big question. This is the test case. Is that return on investment there? Does that make sense for us? Is it yielding what we might, you know, have hope for, right? And in this case, at best, we hope to just see that people are seeing it, clicking it, you know, at least visiting that page to have awareness. And there's benefits to not only seeing our procurement list, but knowing that the OpenGov system is a resource for many types of agencies. So it's a bit of a public service announcement in that way. So we look forward to reporting back if you know, this makes sense to go ahead and further consider as a tactic.
That's good because yeah, in the end, we should get a report back to see how it played out, and then we can all evaluate if that makes sense going forward or new tactics.
Great.
Very good.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. What's next?
Item 6F. This is our monthly communications update. And for this presentation, we do have Jennifer Jensen, again, our public information specialist.
Good morning. Now I'll say good afternoon. I'll start our communications update with a summary of our web news on page 81. During the reporting month, we've published a news release announcing the board's approval of the 2024-25 fiscal year budget, sharing the retailer rate increases and supporting information for this year's budget process. And that rolls into our media coverage on packet page 82. West Basin was included in the University of California's Agriculture and Natural Resources publication, and this highlighted the essential utilization of wastewater recycling, in which West Basin's Edwardsville recycling facility was mentioned as part of principal recommendations in that report to encourage embracing water recycling as a key integration into Los Angeles water systems. West Basin Water Star Student Conservation Program was also also featured in the Municipal Sewer and Water article about our educational efforts, creating fun and engaging ways for kids to learn how to conserve water at home each year. And also West Basin was mentioned in the South Bay Cog newsletter article featuring students participating in a community action program as part of the Blue Water Task Force. And this article credited West Basin for its funding of the initiative. And all media mentions and articles here that I mentioned are available in attachment B located on packet page 93. And then on the next page, 83, we have additional paid media coverage. 2 legal notices of public hearings were posted regarding the water standby charge in the Daily Breeze and Englewood Today papers. And on page 84 through 86, this captures our top social media posts. I'll first call out the big news post on Instagram for the Chargers Recycled Water project. And as we roll into the thick of summer, on the next slide, 86, social media focused efforts on tips to make home gardens more California friendly to conserve water. And then moving on to PIE programs, page 87 and into 88. This section provides an update on our efforts to promote our public education through water lab programs, including ECL tours and Know Your H2O classes. And I really want to highlight marketing and outreach efforts rose to the occasion for the most recent Know Your H2O class with an attendance of 52 people, 41 from the service area.
Did you say that again?
Yeah, 52 people,
Oh.
41 from our service area.
2 people attended. Wow.
Yeah, so
Isn't it?
yeah, so I was just going to say
Like
my
30.
next bullet. This is the highest attendance so far this year with 2 classes remaining still to go in the calendar.
That was on a night in the summer, right? July 10. Okay.
And the PIE team is currently in the process of scheduling Know Your H2O class dates for the 2025 calendar year as well. And then the final, just a quick call out, the final ECL public tour this calendar year is scheduled for August 10th. So that's upcoming. Next page, please, 89, provides a status update on the Parkway Beautification Program. And I know Gus will provide more programmatic details and updates in his report, but the public response as far as marketing received for this program has been very engaged and receptive. Out of more than 100 initial applications and eligibility screenings to date, we've completed 20 Parkway renovations so far. There are currently still 5 program spots remaining, and the PIE team will be initiating another round of marketing efforts to fill the remaining spots with equal distribution of recipients in each district. Next page 90, please, shares updates on the PV lateral project, and I'll hand this to Daryl to share more information on this.
Thanks, Jen. Last month, the construction outreach team continued in their efforts in the 3 remaining sections for the recycled water pipeline installation. That included the southern border of Lago Seco Park, where the pipeline will transport recycled water from Anza Avenue underneath West 238th Street and into the future pump station, and then away to go up the hill. Along Vista, Montana, where that landslide took place and where the city is repairing that section of road. And the last area was a boundary trail under which the pipeline will transport the recycled water from the city of Torrance over to the city of Palos Verdes Estates. Community engagement included drafting public construction notices and canvassing those immediate affected neighborhoods. The team addressed concerns about dust, noise, tar or odors from the newly laid asphalt, to road closure schedules, and the concerns regarding no parking zones. The outreach team was able to coordinate timely responses with the project management and contractor teams to resolve and accommodate resident concerns. The good news is that pipeline installation is now complete at Lago Seco Park, and minimal upcoming construction outreach is anticipated for the remaining small sections along Vista, Montana, and the Boundary Trail this month. The outreach team remains ready to mobilize when the pump station construction schedule is approved. With that, I'll turn it back to you, Jen.
And as we move into our concluding page 91, we're looking forward to the district's participation in National Night Out events on August 6th. Daryl has been hard at work planning and coordinating the district's representation throughout Greater LA for those events. And the whole PI team is well into planning efforts for this year's water harvest event, scheduled for October 5th, which is just around the corner. We posted our first save the date on social media, which was also sent to board members. At our August PI committee meeting, we will be providing more updates regarding event details on that, but definitely wanted to give you a preview in this month's report. And as previously mentioned, I'll just circle back around to this quickly. We will be relaunching the West Basin Water News newsletter in just a couple of weeks. We are looking forward to building our readership base by providing them this engaging and informative content in a new, redesigned, and vibrant format. And although this is not on the PowerPoint slide, I do want to add the recycled water fill station at the ECL facility will open to the public on Thursday, August 15th. We will be hosting a media event to promote this public service and share the work that West Basin has been doing and is doing to provide free recycled water to people. The board secretary has reached out to all of the board members to coordinate a date for a photo opportunity to celebrate the grand opening, which we would love for you all to participate in if possible. And we look forward to establishing a day that works for all of your schedules to commemorate this moment. And we'll be sure to provide updates on this project to the board through the Office of the General Manager. And in conclusion, our PI team is really looking forward to what new will come in this new fiscal year and what that will bring and a continuation of PR and marketing efforts for upcoming events and public outreach. And that concludes the communication update. If you have any questions, I'm ready.
Okay. Director Houston,
I have no questions, so thank you very much.
Director Gray,
I have no questions. Thank you.
Director Deere.
No.
Very good. Just a comment. Now, I was taught, when I was a little kid, that we don't use tar on our roads in California, or should I say in the county of LA. So, could you check that out?
If I can make the comment that the resident concern was for tar odor that was bothering,
Oh, okay.
from the asphalt that was. being
From the asphalt. There you go. All right. Okay. Anything else? Next.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that brings us to item 6G, our monthly conservation programs update. And for this presentation, we have Gus Meza, our Senior Water Policy and Resources Analyst.
And hello again, Chair Williams, and directors. For this presentation, I'll be using the PowerPoint that's located on packet page 108. Next slide, please. My first update is on our Parkway Beautification Pilot Project. Next slide. I am currently on packet page 110, and I'm happy to report that we have completed 21 of the 25 parkways, as you can see here in the table. We had one additional recent one. And so our goal is to have 5 parkways constructed in each division. And as you can see here from the table, we're very close to reaching our goal. And so we continue working with our landscape contractor, the South Bay COG, and our public information department to promote this program in our targeted priority areas. So we are continuing to reach out, and our landscape contractor is also out there promoting the program with the landscape signs and some postcards for the neighbors there. And we've been reaching out and contacting some of the residents as well who have participated to see if their neighbors would be interested. And so we're trying different methods to try to get more people to participate in this project. Next slide, please. I'm going to, next slide. Thank you. I'm going to briefly cover our grass replacement rebate programs. The first one here is the Grass Replacement Plus program for our underserved priority areas. As you can see here, we've distributed 16 trees of the 35 trees. So our landscape contractor is scheduling the delivery of these trees, which is part of the grant program. And also we're promoting the $5 per square foot rebate. As you can see, MWD has received 80 applications for this program over this last couple of years, it looks like there, with the potential of removing 142,000 square feet of grass. Next slide, please. Next program here is our $3 per square foot rebate. And staff has successfully extended this grant with USBR for an additional year through next year, June 30th, 2025. So we can continue providing the $1 per square foot along with MWD's $2 for a total of $3 per square foot to the residents throughout our entire service area. So we will continue to promote this program. Since last year, MWD has received 109 applications from residents with the potential, as you can see there, of removing over 152,000 square feet of grass. Next slide, please. Slide, thank you. And this is our public agency design assistance program. And so we continue promoting this program, working with our cities and public sites to provide landscape designs, free landscape designs to cities and parks and schools, and rebate assistance, helping them to apply for the rebate. And so we have a new intern in our water policy and resources department. So she's currently reaching out to all the schools, parks and cities to get a status update on their projects and see how we can help them apply for the rebate. So we continue to reach out and work with them. Next slide, please. Here we show the number of applications that MWD has received for the commercial and public agency sites. Although it's only 27 applications, it's over 177,000 square feet or about 4 acres of grass that can potentially be removed and converted over to more climate appropriate landscape. Next slide, please. Next slide. This is the Joint Malibu project that was covered during the action item this morning, this committee. So I'm going to just keep on moving along here. Next slide, please. Thank you. Staff will be working with Port Services shortly to provide a tentative schedule and locations and dates for the directors to consider for the district's rain barrel events. So stay tuned for these events that will begin this fall. Next slide. And my last slide here provides a list of upcoming free classes that Metropolitan Water District provides. As you can see here, many are virtual. And so we promote these on our website. These are the classes for August. And I also wanted to mention that staff is working with WRD. We're working with their staff to put on some joint landscape classes. They had reached out to us, very interested in partnering with us. So we're going to be working together with WRD staff to find locations and dates for these classes. To have both our logos on the marketing materials. So we'll be coming back with some more information on these classes, which will start this fall. That is my update. Thank you very much.
Questions?
No question.
Director Gray. Director Deere.
It's fine.
Okay, let's move on. Thank you.
All right. And thank you for your patience. We've been presenting a lot of information today. I know the meeting's gone a little bit longer than normal, but this will conclude our information calendar. It's item 6H. It's our monthly water bottle filling station programs update. For this presentation, we have Tammy Hurley.
Thank you, Jane. So good afternoon, Chair Williams and members of the committee and board. So the district water bottle filling station program has been in effect since March 2017 and is entering into its 7th year, partnering with a local entity to provide access to safe and reliable tap water. So I'm happy to provide this monthly report to you today with status update on the program. And the presentation slides for this update, they do begin on page 126 of the committee packet. And this first slide shows the fiscal year 2023-24 ended with a total of 20 applications that were received, showing a list of the agencies that we received application from. Most of these have been approved, however, there are still a few that are still being reviewed. And as you are aware, in May, the board had approved the authorized waiving conditions under the program guidelines. And this was really helpful because it allowed us to maximize the program by shifting funding in between the different division service areas. So for Division 3, there were several applications that were received from the Manhattan Beach Unified School Districts for new stations at both the preschool and middle school campuses. In addition, the city of Torrance has applied for a station at the El Nido Park. The city has also expressed interest in a new station at Victor Park and understand that they need to submit a second application. So we look forward to receiving that application soon. Both of these locations, they are in a portion of Torrance that do fall within the West Basin service area. Other pending applications that are currently under review include the Redondo Union High School, the third application, and also the El Segundo Unified School District Performing Arts Center. And some of these entities have successfully installed their station, and they have provided photos from their locations, which we can show on the next slide, please. These are stations at two elementary schools located in Division 1. So on the left side is a before and after photo of the station at the Bonita Elementary School in Carson. And this station is located next to a playground. There are more than 400 students that are enrolled in this school. On the right side is a before and after photo of the station at the Del Amo Elementary School, which is also located in Carson. And more than 300 students are enrolled in the school. The station is located near the lunch pavilion and playground. Next slide, please. Here are two stations located at the Redondo Union High School. On the left side is a before and after photo of their station outdoors next to the visitor bleachers and near the field house. On the right side is a before and after of the station next to the softball field. And as I mentioned earlier, the school has submitted a third application, which is still pending, and that station will be next to their synthetic baseball field, also near the field house on the other side. So enrollment at this school is over 3,000 students. The athletic facilities are featured as a hub of the community. They host several sporting events year round. Next slide, please. So lastly, this is the year-end budget for the program. For Division 2, I just want to mention that the Inglewood Unified School District had expressed earlier their interest in installing 3 new stations at the Bennett Q Preschool 8-3 school. I'm still in contact with them. They are just looking to finalize some more details on their end. So we anticipate getting 3 more applications from them. We hope to have those applications in the coming weeks. They just didn't come in on the end of the fiscal year as we hoped. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, this list includes the new applications that we received. They're currently being reviewed. That concludes my update. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much. Questions? Director Houston.
The next question I have, Tammy, because it's not in here, is the pending opportunities. And so I know that, at least for me, I think Temple Akiba is one of the ones that is put on the table. But I know that you'll circle back with me, staff, to look at options.
Yeah, I am in contact with them, and yeah, we're trying to get everything sorted out on the date that will work for you and for them. Their work too.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any questions? Director. Great. Dear,
It just looks like this is an area where West Basin flourishes, though. All these reports today have been very, very encouraging. We're doing a good job.
all right. Anyone else? Great job. You guys are really good. But I do have a question, but I'll save it for another time. Because I am really concerned, it's really concerning the focus now of the parkways, landscaping the parkways. Because I grew up where that was, oh, no, you can't do that. That's dangerous. People get out of their cars and walk there. What are you doing? You know, get that out of there. And now you criticize for not doing it. All right, anyway, the way, what they say, the more things change, the more they remain the same, something like that. But anyway, but I'm happy to see good-looking parkways. Former Public Works Director. Good. Keep up the good work, you guys. Yeah.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
just I have a quick question. It's probably more again for EJ, but because Tammy brought it up, I think it's a good point. Like El Nido Park in Torrance, but that is in our service area. And so we have those areas of Torrance that technically are in our service area. I'm sure most people don't realize how that works or this exists, but to the bigger picture, EJ, because I know when I talk about the district, I say we serve all these areas except Torrance. That's kind of how I say it. Or I'd say parts of Torrance or portions of Torrance. But what do we say officially from the agency on that?
Portions of Torrance.
Portions of,
So if you're a Torrance resident, anybody that's served by California Water Service Company,
Mhm.
you're a West Basin customer.
Yeah.
And that includes a significant portion of their residential population. If you're familiar with the area, there's Prospect that cuts down in between Redondo Beach and the city of Torrance. If you were to go east on Del Amo Boulevard, that would circle up to Hawthorne, which is another major thoroughfare. It goes all the way down to Torrance Boulevard and then all the way back down. So that whole portion of the Cal Service Water Service area is part of the West Basin Service Area. And it's worth noting, especially when it comes to the water bottle filling station, we've always been in contact with the Torrance Unified School District. They've had numerous water bottle filling stations installed in those areas. So, and we're constantly in contact with their Public Works Department for their parks.
Yeah.
So we always highlight this program. It just needs to be in our service area, but there are a number of those little parkettes with drinking fountains and stuff like that that we continue to promote within the city of Torrance, but in the West Basin portion.
because the other thing, the folks that live in those areas, they're eligible for $3 a square foot, right? I guess my thing is I haven't looked at our current website lately to see the map. But just tell me or not, if you look at the map or drill down on our service area map, it does include these areas that are Torrance, right? Like if someone looked, they could figure out, oh, I actually live in the West Basin service area, even though I'm in the Torrance address.
Yeah.
That one is a map and it'll list by director. So this portion of West Torrance, it's Division 3. So you can see it listed just in words and then you can see a bigger outline. And then on our website, both of them, there is a area, it's a GIS map. So you can enter in your address to see specifically where you're at, or you can, zoom in on the map as well. So people should be able to figure out whether they're in the service area, which division of West Basin, as well as their retailer in these GIS maps.
Okay, so I guess how do we, and maybe you're doing start target some of those folks, and it's not division, but I'm gonna say, how do you make sure you're targeting those residents that live in those parts of Torrance that we serve, that they're eligible for the $3 a square foot, for example?
So that would be this very similar to anybody that lives in the California Water Service area. So they get their bills through them, through those links and going through Cal Water Service. You go there, they offer a competing grass replacement program.
Water.
So we've always worked with them as far as promoting our programs. We definitely tackle or direct our education programs to those communities. Again, there's a number of schools within the Torrance Unified School District that are in that portion that serve our communities, even though they are in Torrance. And so all of our programs are always promoted in that portion. And if you're familiar with that area, the flow of the residential portion, it's a very natural flow. I just happen to live very close to that area. But it seems like we're getting a lot of great numbers. And again, it was a few years ago, prior to COVID, we were contacted by Torrance Unified about our program. They had heard about it and they wanted to do as many schools as they could. We met with them and actually utilized our maps to identify which schools are within our service area. And I believe they filed numerous applications to get them in to the schools that are in our area.
Okay, it's just it's so interesting because I just know that generally speaking, when I talk about West Basin, most of us, because Torrance is a member agency, they have their own water department, blah blah blah. So I usually just I don't say we serve Torrance. I don't mention it, even though I know what's actual. But maybe for myself, I will say we serve parts of Torrance so people know. But I know you all do it, and it's on the maps. It's just it's interesting, but I also think that we should capitalize on that just a little better, maybe in some way when you guys are doing the presentations or whatever. So those folks that live in those areas just realize you actually are part of our family. You're eligible for our stuff because the city does their own things, and I don't know how they do their outreach the same way. They don't have the extra buck, so on and so forth. So it's more of an observation.
So the very nice thing about our work with the city of Torrance, and Gus deserves a lot of credit for this. We've always partnered with our programs to bring in the city of Torrance. Torrance has an excellent public works department when it comes to water issues and conservation. Yeah, everybody's familiar with Chuck Scheich. He's always been engaged. But whenever we have programs that are in or around the area, Gus has always worked with Torrance to actually roll them in. So they're inviting their residents, and we're kind of co-promoting these programs within those communities. And of course, the city of Torrance is well aware of that portion being in our service area. Again, not to get into all the little details, but any member of the community that pays a property tax bill in that area, they're aware that they're a portion of the West Basin service area and looking at that. So, all of our programs are definitely available to them. And a lot of their parks actually have recycled water.
No, that's true. Yeah. All right, final comment on that. So by the way, that was actually really, for example, we had that booth at the 5K run or whatever it was on Armed Forces Day Parade, because we know that there's a chunk of Torrance residents that are served by us, and we don't always put some of our efforts in the heart of the city. So hopefully that was fruitful. So I think that makes a good point to what EJ just said, is how we don't leave those constituents behind. All right, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Anything else?
No, thank you very much for your time today. I want to say a very special thank you to all of our staff. Again, there's a lot of things that we're moving forward on, and I'm very happy to have this opportunity, have them present that to you. And we're just going to keep moving forward. And a lot of these things that you've seen as information items, you'll be seeing with some regularity over the coming months and future years.
Okay.
You got adjourned?
No, not down. All right. Okay, I guess it's time for director's comments. Future agenda items.
Director Gray.
Yes.
Hi.
Go ahead.
I just want to, I think I've said this before, but I wanted to thank staff for all the work that they do, and all the reports this morning. You can tell they're working very hard on behalf of West Basin. So thank you to everyone. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else?
I will concur with exactly what Director Gray said. And also, I just wanted to make a comment because I was driving over here listening to radio, and they were saying that parts of Northern California are in moderate drought already. And they were also saying that they were hoping that wasn't going to happen based on 2 very wet years, but with the heat wave, a couple heat waves and then one coming, these things are happening. So just point of information, parts of California are in a moderate state of drought already. And so I don't think it only will reemphasize everything we're going to be doing as we end out this summer going into the fall, which hopefully will also get our residents, attuned to taking advantage of these programs. So we knew this was going to happen, but it is happening. So, our job, as always, just gets tougher again to keep them engaged. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Well, we know that we are always subject to drought because of where we live. Where we live in the best part of the what?
Oh, the USA climate wise.
That's right. So just stay aware. All right. With that,